I sit with a lot of clients, and when I ask them about their benefit statement, they haven't even looked at it.
Yes.
They don't always understand. And I think it's just, we don't talk about it enough. So the first thing I usually do when I chat to someone for the first time is to ask them, do you have any benefits with work? Hi guys, so today we are sitting with Trisha. I'm really excited to be chatting to her today. She's a photographer based in Pretoria East, and we're going to have a little bit of discussion around her business, what she's doing. And she's got some questions relating to small business owners in the creative industry. Thanks so much for chatting to me today. I'm really glad that we could do a podcast together. I feel like it's long overdue.
I think so too. Thank you for having me. It's a massive pleasure. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this.
Awesome. So you are a photographer.
Yes.
Photography, do you have specific types of photography that you specialize in?
Yeah, so basically weddings, lifestyle. Yeah, so that's the main two that I focus on. But yeah, mainly weddings, and that is what I enjoy the most. I have a passion for people. I have a passion for love, and I just love capturing love stories. So I think that's the main part. But I think lifestyle is also, after the weddings, there's always pregnant and there's babies coming, and I love that part as well, because then you can do this whole journey with someone. And yeah, with the couples, I think that's a cool thing to be a part of, to capture that lifestyle moments and milestones.
Weddings sound like quite a stressful niche to photograph, because I feel like you only have one opportunity to get the shot right.
Exactly.
There's a lot of pressure put on the day, especially from the bride's side. So how long have you been photographing weddings?
So basically 5 years, basically the amount of time that I know you. So I mean, that's really exciting. I think most of the stuff I have encountered, so most of the challenges on the day, and I really do think that bridezillas happen, but I think it's mostly because the people are stressed on the day. So I think, you always see a different kind of side of a bride on the day.
So being a business owner, especially in the creative industry, how did you approach the last 2 years with COVID? Things were all over the place. It was very chaotic, very, very stressful, especially from a financial point of view. Yeah. So how did you find it, and how did you gear up your business to get through the last couple of months?
It was a very challenging time for me, because 2019, before COVID hit, everything went well. It was one of my best years yet. And then COVID hit, and I just didn't know what to do, because there were people postponing their weddings. There were people cancelling completely because they wanted to do only elopements or whatever. And I really do think it was a very challenging time for me. It's definitely going better now, but there's still people that really don't want to do the whole big wedding thing anymore. They just want to do the small wedding, 10, 20 people.
Very intimate type of stuff.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I think that's more where everything went. And I think it is going back to the big wedding thing, because I think it's more of a traditional thing in South Africa especially. We want the dance, and we want the whole party vibe and all that. And I really do think that is an important part of our culture. And so I think people will never go completely away from weddings, but for me it was a challenging time, and I really hope it just continues getting better now, because the economy is going downhill again.
And the interest rate also just went up today, so
exactly.
I think if we sort of take that back to financial planning, it again reiterates how important it is for financial planning to be flexible.
Yes.
And when we sort of approach and we chat to clients, we need to make sure that solutions that we're putting in place for them, we're gearing up for these sort of things. We're making sure that they have emergency savings, that whatever products they have in place are going to be flexible.
Yes.
I think the first thing people do when times like COVID hit is they panic, and they don't want to talk about it, and they want to just cancel everything, and everything that they have built up over the last couple of years sort of just gets scrapped. And I think that that's one of the first mistakes people make. So I think the most important thing to do in situations like with COVID, or another example is people that are there's a lot of retrenchments that have unfortunately taken place in the last couple of months, is I really sit my clients down and finances are such an emotional conversation to have. And when you're in the middle of that, you're in the middle of the COVID scenario, the interest rate going up. Unfortunately, not everyone's salaries were keeping up with everything that was happening. People getting retrenched. It's difficult to see the situation from a non-emotional perspective. So I think having a financial advisor that's going to sit with you and firstly empathize with the situation, because we deal with very personal things with our clients, to be able to give you an outside look on it, to be able to put everything on the table and give you a different view of the situation. It actually helps you better make decisions and make the correct decisions, instead of making decisions out of panic, because the first thing people do is they're going to panic. And they don't want to talk about it.
Exactly. And it's not a great place to be. You don't want to, cancel everything, because it's a spur of the moment decision, and then eventually you're probably going to regret it, I think. Like, I grew up with my dad always telling me, okay, you need to have 3 months of savings and I think it was always a really big plus side for me, because I grew up with that, and it was instilled in me to always have that backup. But with COVID, I depleted
3
that
months.
backup.
COVID was longer than 3 months.
Exactly. So 3 months was there. We worked through it, and nothing was left. And so I really do think it's important to have that backup in place, especially in the creative industry where everything's very uncertain, and 1 month you can do amazing, and the other month you don't have anything that's coming in.
I think what you're saying now doesn't just apply to the creative industry. I think it applies to a lot of small business owners.
Yes.
And I think they can really resonate with that, considering the last 3-4 years that we've had.
Yeah.
And the rule of thumb is to say you need 3 months of your income or your expenses. And if you get to the point where you've got your 3 months, then you wanna boost it up again. And there's different investment options that you can sort of use for this. Ideally, with a short-term investment, you want something that will be a little bit more easy to access in case you need it. You don't necessarily want to be in a situation where your first option is just to go create debt.
Yes. So how do I, as a business owner, what steps do I need to take? Because I think we don't always know what to do. Like, especially in the beginning of my business, I didn't know what routes to take with tax, and because
it can be a bit overwhelming.
Exactly. So I didn't know how to start with everything. So please give me more advice. So that's the most important part.
With business owners, if you are working for a company, you're most likely going to have company benefits. You're most likely going to be privileged to have the company contributing some sort of amount into a pension fund for you. You're going to have maybe group life or maybe some risk benefits with them already. If you're a business owner, the responsibility lies solely with you.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you have something in place to save for your retirement. You need to make sure that you have those risk benefits in place, which not really get taken for granted. But I sit with a lot of clients, and when I ask them about their benefit statement, they haven't even looked at it.
Yes.
They don't always understand. And I think it's just, we don't talk about it enough. So the first thing I usually do when I chat to someone for the first time is to ask them, do you have any benefits with work? As a business owner, it's going to be up to you to do that. So it's important to understand that if you're not going to do it, no one else is going to do it.
Nobody else is going to do it.
You're not going to, no, it's not going to happen for you.
Yeah.
So it's important that you are contributing towards something for your retirement.
Yes.
It's important for you to have the right investment structure in place. Tax-free investments are one of the best savings vehicles that you can use as a young person, as a business owner, as an individual.
Yes.
Because the money that you are going to put into that investment, you're going to be able to draw free of tax.
And how much can I invest in a tax-free each year?
So you are capped at 36,000 per annum, and you can only put in $500,000 for your entire lifetime.
Okay.
So ideally, what you want to do is you want to max out your contributions on an annual basis as quickly as possible. Get to your $500,000 and then leave that investment for as long as possible.
Okay, and then it'll
Yes, so
build
it's
up.
it's going to grow like a normal investment.
Yeah.
What's nice about tax-free investments is with retirement annuities, we're quite regulated as to how much we can take offshore and what funds we can use.
Yes, where that is.
Yes, with a tax-free, you can really have your freedom of choice with the funds that you're going to invest in.
Wonderful. Okay, so why would I need a financial advisor as a creative trying to buy a house, for example, trying to plan for a family, all that kind of stuff?
So I think having a relationship with a financial advisor is really important, and it needs to be someone that you trust and you have a good relationship with.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
that's an important thing. They can help you put things in place that is actually going to assist you and sort of boost your financial plan. So you want to focus on your business and you want to focus on keeping your clients happy and shooting your weddings.
Yes.
We can help you put structures in place, like you need to buy a new lens, you need to upgrade your equipment. How are we going to do that? I think it also creates a little bit of accountability, just to have someone to rely on when you are making big life-changing decisions, like saving for a house or making the decision on whether you should buy a house, whether you should rent. Do you want to start a property portfolio? How are you going to save for your new gear?